If you can see here on the left-hand side, I'm just going to open my screen up for you all. On the left-hand side here, we've got the Commission Fee Administration tab in green. Okay. Before I go any further, can I just ask again if everybody could raise their hand to confirm they can see my screen in front of me, which should be the Intrinsic Gateway homepage. Fantastic. Thanks, everybody. That's great news. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you can access Office Web directly from this Commission Fee Administration tab. Alternatively, you should also have an Office Web browser and the Office Web Training browser installed on your desktop on your machine there. Okay, so I'm just going to access the training version that I have on my machine here. And I'm just going to pop in the training logins that we used whilst we were on the training course. And again, you're more than welcome to continue to use these once you get back to your office following your training course. And we do just need to make sure you are using the training system, which you can identify by the title here at the top, Intrinsic Training User Login. Okay, and once we're logged into the system, first of all, we do need to search for the client. Even if it is a new client and you don't already have it on the system, you need to search for it first of all to allow you to create that new client. So we're going to type in test, and we're going to call it Tony. And as you can see here at the moment, new client is actually grayed out. But once we've searched for the client, this option then becomes available to us. Okay. If you click on New Client at the left-hand side, and as we're doing a corporate submission, we're going to select Corporate Client. And select OK at the bottom here. And we're just going to pop the company details in. So we're going to say it's a building company. And we simply move through this step and the tabs along the top here. And anything highlighted in yellow is a mandatory field. Obviously, the more information you can enter, the better. And we're going to change this to a current client. And once we're ready, we can select Save at the bottom here. Okay, now this takes us through to the Sales Processes tab. And what we need to do is create a manual sales process. And we do this by selecting the manual SP icon here. And you simply need to confirm your details there. Obviously, as I mentioned before, we're using the training system, so this shows up as Training RI. When you log in using your own login details, this will show your own name here. And once we're happy with this, we can just select Save. And that has created the manual sales process for us here. And as you can see, it will always be noted as manual here on the right-hand side, just so you can identify those cases you've completed in Workbench and those that you've created manually in Office Web. And what we then need to do is go on to the Documents tab. And you can see it's created a subfolder for this particular sales process that we've created today. So it will always have the sales process and then the date that you've created that manual sales process. Okay. And what you do is you would simply add the documentation that you need to support that submission. And you simply select Add in the bottom corner here. Okay. You would just browse in the usual way as you normally would to upload a document. And what I will do is I will come back to this, the document requirements later on, and I'll show you exactly the guidelines and the documents that you require for your corporate submission, okay? But what you would do is you simply browse and then upload the document, okay? I'm just going to come out of this page just to move on for you. And we now need to go into the Quotes List tab along the left-hand side and add a manual quote. If anybody has got any questions whilst running through the demonstration, please just let me know and I can pick those up throughout. And once we've selected the quotes list, we would click on Add Manual. And this brings us up with the manual quote screen here. So it's going to pop in the type and we're going to put that as protection. And we're going to select this as brand life protection here, and the product is business protection. And entering in the premium here, and the frequency, and the term details. You then select whether you're receiving the commission or advisor charging. We're going to select commission for this particular case. And when you're ready, you just select Save. And this now populates the quote in the same way as it does when you do a full workbench sales process. And when you're ready to submit the case, you need to set remuneration by selecting the Set Remuneration icon here. And you'll then be brought up with the same screen as you usually would to set your remuneration. Every field in yellow, again, is mandatory, but as you can see, this has already filled this information in, so we can just simply move on to the next tab. Again, this will have your name here, and if you want to split the commission with another Positive Solutions or Intrinsic advisor, you would simply click Referred by AR and select their details here. Okay, an external introducer can also be selected by using the introducer icon as well. We're going to move on to the Compliance tab. We're going to select Replacement Contract as No. The sales process type is pulled through as manual because we've done the manual sales process. And the advice given will say face-to-face. And you need to ensure the selected documents have been uploaded. And we can then move on to the Remuneration tab. We're going to select that this is an indemnified commission. And again, if you want to add any fees onto the case, you would do so here. Okay. And once you're ready, you can select Save, and that effectively submits that particular case. And as you can see now, the remuneration set has been changed to yes. So we applied for the product and the remuneration has been set on the case. And that is the corporate sales process submitted. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I'll just bring you through to the Intrinsic Actioner and show you the guidelines for the corporate submission. So you can access the Intrinsic Actioner from the main gateway page, and then by going halfway down the page here to the Resource Centre tab. And if we select this, you just need to pop in the same login details that you used to access the gateway. And along the left-hand side here, we've got the AQ Guidance and Processes tab. You should be able to see here as well, we've got Corporate Business right at the bottom there, and then you can scroll along and select the option that you need. For example, if we select Business Protection and then Shareholder Protection, this provides you with the guidelines, a brief outline of that particular product, the procedure you need to follow, and if we come down to the bottom of the page, it has the Office Web requirements. Okay, and so you will need to complete the corporate fact find, which you can access via this link. You also need to complete the corporate money laundering. Again, you can follow the link here. The final illustration, the provider research, a copy of the application, and the final demands and needs letter. Okay, you just upload all those documents to the Documents tab in the Office Web submission there. Okay. Again, if you want to find the corporate fact find without going this way, you can simply type it in the search icon here, and this brings up the PDF and editable versions for you. Okay. So hopefully you found that useful. So that is the corporate sales process from start to finish. Again, as I mentioned, the webinar has been recorded, so if you do want to come back to this at a later time and review the procedure, that will be available on the Advisor Support Team tab on the XJET later on today. In addition, I will send you some step-by-step guides, screenshots, sorry, to sort of outline the process if you want to follow that at a later date. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll launch into the transfer of servicing procedure in Office Web. Again, it's quite a straightforward process. It's simply creating a shell fact find on the system and uploading the documents to the case. So I'm going to launch back into Office Web and again start with the client search here. I'm going to try a different name this time and select search. And again, you need to select search before you click on new client, otherwise this will be grayed out. And this time we're going to select it's a private client and select OK. And again, you must complete all the fields marked mandatory in yellow. And you can simply move through the tabs by selecting them at the top here. Change the status again to current and the ID verification as electronic ID. Once you're ready, just select Save. And this time, instead of doing a manual sales process, what we're going to do is select a policy list here on the left-hand side. And then we're simply going to select New Arrangement, which appears below that. You need to select the product type from the list here. You must never select Other, otherwise it doesn't actually let you take you any further. So you must select the product type that you're using. So we're going to change this and keep this as investment there for the time being and select OK. And you just need to manually enter in the details here. As you can see from the first drop down, the business type, we need to change that to transfer of service. And enter in the provider details. Again, you're popping the premium details on the term. You need to ensure that the status is changed to on risk, and also it's important that you note the policy number as well if you do have that available, and that ensures that we can pay you any commission that's being transferred over as well. I'm just going to make on the policy number to pop in here for the time being. And again, you just move through the tabs at the top and change the advisor to your own name. And it's just popped up here just to remind us that we've added no advisor charge to the retail investment product, but we're just going to select OK for this one. And now you'll find that this has changed the policy. You'll see new here, and then existing has got 1, and it'll pop that policy there into the existing tab for you. Okay, that is the transfer of servicing procedure. And once you've also got the transfer of servicing letter from the client, you can also enter that into the Documents tab here. And also, if you've completed a review with the client, you can also enter in any documents and add those in the usual way by selecting the add icon here and browsing and uploading. Okay, so that is the transfer of servicing procedure for you. We do also have a copy of the transfer of servicing letter available on both the Intrinsic and the Positive Solutions extranet pages. I'll just show you where you can find this on the Intrinsic extranet. In the document store, but if we type in transfer of servicing into the search bar and select search, you can see we've got a copy of the Positive Solutions branded copy and the Intrinsic branded copy as well for you. Okay, so again, that is the process for transfer of servicing. I will send you some screenshot guides to follow if you do want to come back and try this at a later date. Okay. So if anybody's got any questions regarding the two procedures, please just pop those into the question box, and I'll pick those up for you as soon as I